Hello, YouTube. How are we doing? It looks like we are live. Hello, here we are. I have my glasses on like Professor Crossdresser. Hello. I don't know if anybody's going to stop by, but I thought let's just come on. We'll de-drag. We'll have a fabulous time hanging out. But this is the big curly wig. I'm not usually in drag in this setup, so very fun, very different. This is kind of my curtain call look. I've got a little sequin number from Bloom Chic that I got, and I've got some jewels. This is that new set of jewelry that I had unpacked on a previous live from Rocks by Cox. Hello. Hello, Geese Police, my niece, crinkle cut fries. Yes, I do love some crinkle cut fries. Hello, hello. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you are popping in. Let me take off the glasses. We can see how the makeup is held up. The makeup is held up pretty good. I think the eyebrows were janky before. I'm doing pretty well. I'm a couple ciders in, so we've made some choices, and here we are. But yeah, so this is Bella Vitae Bar. This was a combination of the Green Goddess palette, Ultraviolet, and Pinky Promise. So we got a little fun look. Hello, CJ. Hello, how are you doing? Yes, I figured I would come on for a little late night hang out and chat, and we'll just slowly peel away the glamour as everything goes on. I've been had, so understandable. Yeah. So there's this place in Grand Forks called the Tap Room, and it's like the one place downtown that I can stand to go because the music isn't so obnoxiously loud. You can have a conversation. And I always love when theater people are there, because I went and I invited a whole bunch of people from the drag show. Nobody from the drag show came. But there were a bunch of theater people there, and I ran into this guy. Oh my God. So he was my straight crush for years and years and years and years and years. I haven't seen him in a long time. Sean, that's his name. We don't change names to protect the guilty in this house. So his name is Sean, and he is a gorgeous, beautiful man. And he was my straight boy crush for years and years. And I was down bad. I was down bad for that man. It was bad news. It was bad news. And I ran into him, and we just kind of chatted a little bit, and he's still cute and sweet and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, it's a good thing that I don't see you on a regular basis anymore. I'm very glad that. Oh, so you have some tea. I love some tea. We love some steaming hot tea. What is the tea? Tell me and tell the viewers at home. What is the tea? I love it. I'm loving this wig. This wig. I go back and forth with this wig. I like her. She's kind of the fun aunt hair. Do I know an Austin? I know a couple Austins. That is a great wig. Thank you. Oh, last name's Aaron. I don't know. Is he on Facebook? A lot of times I know, like 10 years ago. Oh my gosh. Okay. That sounds familiar. There was an Austin that used to come to our drag shows. I mean, now clearly I am of an age where now I immediately am like, let me go to Facebook and let me stalk. Let me see. Austin Malinsky. Except I have nails on, so I can't do anything. Oh. Oh, so he said that I had flirted with him. Probably. I flirt with everybody. And especially, I don't know if he's straight or whatever. If he's a straight boy, I definitely flirted with him. Because that is like my goal in life, is to make straight people uncomfortable. Like straight men uncomfortable, not straight women. I like to kiki with straight women. But straight men, I like to make them a little bit. Oh, let's see. I think Geese Police is the niece. Yes, Geese Police, my niece. Oh, interesting. This looks a little bit. Is this we're really just? Is this him? Is this him? It looks kind of familiar. He looks sort of familiar, maybe. Let's see. Anyone else come up? Yes, okay, he looks sort of familiar. I mean, yeah, he looks like the kind of like average guy that I would like go up and flirt with. I've been into the beardy weirdies lately. So I used to be all about like super preppy. Oh God. Let me tell you, when I was in college, I was a mess. My type was like the villain in an 80s movie. If they were like blonde and preppy asshole, I wanted to land a frat boy. It was the worst thing ever. So they were your boss. Oh, yeah. So I mean, looks familiar. I'm sure I have flirted with him. But that line, that's not an exclusive group to get into. I'm a loose woman. I know you didn't want to know this about dear Aunt Janessa, but they tried to shit on me. Well, probably. I mean, I make it my goal to like make fun of people, and they tried to shit on me in a kink sense, not in a kink sense. No, we don't. Not to yuck anyone else's yum, but well, and especially from Fargo, it's tough because Fargo, the drag scene in Fargo is very like territorial. So if someone is like, if they're a fan of like person A, then they're not going to be like very happy or very nice about person B. It's a whole thing. It's always been very cliquish. I don't know why the Fargo girls can't get along, but that has been that way since I've started doing this 25 years ago. There's something about the community in Fargo and like the gay community in general, but like especially the drag community. There's always fighting. There's always like stuff going up. Um, I meant trans, not the shit cup. Oh yeah. Um, oh, and I forgot to change this to all messages. Live messages. There we go. Up there. They are into a kid and have been supporting substances. Oh no, no, icky. We don't like that. I don't. There's a problem with, I mean, there's a problem everywhere, as we have found out with the Epstein files and with everything. I don't understand it. There is this weird, like, obsession with youth to a point that it becomes almost like a fetish. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Grinder, Growler, Scruff, they're all like a cesspool, and it's just like that's the option that's here. But every time I go on, I'm like, it's where hope goes to die. It's just terrible. Yeah, they I do. So yeah, I don't know them, but they do kind of look like that general nondescript sort of person that I would probably flirt with. But I don't have any particular recollection of them. I'm trying to see if I have mutual friends with them. Mutual. Is it anybody that I really know? It's some people that I know from. Oh, there's one on there that's like, eh. Oh no, I don't like any of that. I don't like it. Oh, what? Ah, no, no. What happened? Oh, I thought I started a call by accident. I thought so. I was on the mutual friends and like this random person, but apparently they have a story because now every like Facebook is trying to be Instagram and Instagram is trying to be TikTok and TikTok is trying to be YouTube. It's a mess out there, but I thought I accidentally like placed a Facebook call, but it wasn't. They just have a story. Girl, get off your phone. Girl, get off your phone. Oh, yeah, that's creepy. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, that's not good. Yucky. Well, if you see them again, tell them that if Janessa was flirting with them, it was clearly the effect of too much alcohol. I used to drink a lot at shows, so I don't anymore. I did have a couple ciders tonight, but let me tell you, so that was the thing when I used to direct the shows at the I-Beam down in Moorhead. When I would come in late, as always, the girls would like watch me go to the bar because I would go in and immediately go and order my first drink at the bar. And the girls would always watch me because if I got something fruity and cute, like a Sex on the Beach or something, they were like, okay, we're gonna have a nice, easy night. It's gonna be chill. It's gonna be good vibes. If I ordered a Long Island tea, they were like, shit's gonna get weird. And so If I flirted with him, it was probably a Long Island tea night. Um, yeah. Yeah, not good. Yeah, just tell them that Janessa was not impressed. But yeah, so here's the look. I feel like the eyeshadow is held up pretty good. These eyebrows are still janky as hell. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on with these eyebrows. But I'm loving the way this look is held up pretty well. We're doing pretty good. Ah, yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let me take this necklace off. I am not loving this necklace. Um, so because I'm a big gal, a lot of times the chains on things are not long enough. And so the easiest way, because you can extend them, like I make jewelry, so I could like extend them, but I am a little bit white trash, and so I honestly just use paper clips. And it works perfectly. And if you get the ones that have this like plastic coating, this like rubberized coating, it's super comfortable. But every once in a while, like the little edges will like poke me. And this has been poking the shit out of me all night. I'm ready to be done with it. So as I'm just, like I said, we're probably just going to slowly, like piece by piece, kind of take this off. So, but yeah, so here's the look. I'm loving the little we call her, so Angie and I, when I got this, I was like, it looks sort of like Jennifer Grey from uh, uh, I've had the time of my life. All I can think of is Flashdance, Dirty Dancing. And so I've decided to call her Jennifer Grey Pubes. So Angie and I decided that that's her name. There's a whole big discussion about the brows during the Get Ratchet with Me. Yeah. Uh, the eyebrows are definitely a challenge. I did the first one, and so like the first one went on, and it went on pretty well. And then this one was just feral. Like this one just was bad news. It was bad news. Uh the hate trans people get. We're such a small demographic. Yeah. Yeah, that's every once in a while people get like weird and fetishy about stuff, and it's not good. And it's like, can you just leave people alone? Can you not? I mean, I get it. Like, I want to support people and I don't want to yuck people's yum. And like, it's always a good reminder that like just because somebody's trans doesn't mean they're a good person. Hello, Caitlyn Jenner. And that's one thing that I always like. It's like a good reminder to people. I'm like, here's an object lesson for you, because just because Caitlyn Jenner is a shitty human being, you can call her a shitty human being, but that's not an excuse to misgender her, to dead name her, to whatever. It's fine to not like her, but not like her because she's a terrible human being. Like, just because somebody is trans or queer or is a minority, it doesn't exempt them from also being a terrible human being. And so sometimes it's good to be reminded of that. But yeah, it does. Those people sneak in and then they become like a problem for everybody else. Uh, yeah, we talked about the brows earlier. What did Janet say? Janet said something, and it was so funny. And I can't, but she said something like the brows are something. They're close. They're something about them being close, but it was so funny the way she said it. Um, let's see. There's a whole. If you're interested in the things I'm watching, it's about Cyrax. I don't know what the community is, because that was most recently relates them to. Interesting. Don't look up Cyrax. Okay. I was like Mortal Kombat Cyrax. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is, but I will not Google it. I will not Google it. I promise. Yeah, so here we are. I just am living for this dress. I look like I'm some weird, like, cross-dressing librarian, like, in her home office. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But yeah, I do like this wig. I wanted to get a couple of just like little shake and go fun wigs. I call them the fun aunt wigs. And this is a good one. The yellow one, the other like shake and go that I have is not as good. Um, don't actually look it up. Thanks, Sacha. No cereal, really awful. Oh, really awful person on the internet. Okay, I don't know who that is. That's what I thought too. Mortal Kombat. Yeah. And I thought, and that could be a discussion around like gender stuff because if you are a fan of Mortal Kombat, in Mortal Kombat 1, the most recent iteration of the game, they did a gender swap with both Sector and Cyrax, the cyber ninjas, the cyber Lin Kuei, and the chin beards were outraged. They were so angry. They were so mad. Oh my god, I live for it. I bathe in the tears of chin beards who are offended by wokeness. By wokeness. I should peel out of this, but can we just talk about how cute this is? And look how cute these nails are. From Kiss, these little star nails. Adorable. I love that. If I would keep these on for a day or so if I wasn't absolutely worthless with nails on. Absolutely worthless with nails on. So yeah, so here we are, just kind of looking cute. Yeah, I think this worked. This is the Bella Bite bar, like I said earlier. And I'm pretty impressed with this. I'm pretty impressed. All right, so it's going to get weird. So let's take the wig off. Although I do sort of, this new haircut, I'm trying to remember which direction it goes because the camera is always reversed and it confuses me. There's something about this like hairdo with a full face of makeup that feels very like lesbian dominatrix. Like there's something about it that, and I'm not mad about it at all. But yeah, so we've cut a line, a clear wig line. That's always fun. But yeah, so we've got this kind of crazy. There we go. That's sexy. That's a look. That's a look. Oh. All right. Should we peel some lashes? Should we peel some lashes? Oh. Oh, maybe. No, this one had a lot of glue. This one we did double glue. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Free of the lashes. I've got some paper towels sitting here. We're going to... Yeah, it definitely... There's always one that's just got to stick like hell. I wish I'd remembered to bring the micellar water home because I did bring some makeup wipes so that I could do... Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got... I threw all of my tip money into this pink purse, this cute Lux DeVille purse, but I shoved it on top of my makeup wipes. So, so how's everybody doing? How was your Saturday night? What's everybody up to? Geese Police, you're having some IPAs. That's exciting. CJ, what are you up to? Are you doing anything fun for Saturday night? Hanging out with me on the YouTubes. You worked all night. Not fun. Not fun. But good to make that money. Okay, come on. Oh, where's my makeup wipes? I do love, I mean, obviously I love it when people hand me money, but then having to like count it and organize it, and then like I'm such a cashless person that then whenever I do a show, I'm always like, how do people manage just having cash? Like, how does that work? I don't understand it. Okay, so we've got some fabulous Betsy Johnson makeup wipes that I got at TJ Maxx. And I bought them just because they were cheap and they were Betsy Johnson. But now that I've tried them, they're actually really good makeup wipes. So I need to keep looking for these. Dart throwing tournament. Would have loved to chew on some glass instead. I bet. Got a head cold on top of my... Oh, no. If you saw my earlier live, I had to sleep in my office Thursday night because I was working on this big project and I was there till 1:30. And then I went down to my car and it was like a complete snowpocalypse. It was just insane. And so I ended up having to... Oh, what did I do with that paper towel? Okay. So I had to sleep in my office. Like I have a little spare kind of office space where I keep costumes and props and things. And so I just put a fur rug down. I curled up in my Cruella de Vil costume coat and just slept on the floor of my office. It was terrible. Yeah, there's a big pile of cash on the bed. It's very questionable. And then we have some of the Zero Balm. This is my favorite part. This is where we become a melted clown, and so I definitely like this part. I wish I'd remembered to bring the micellar water home to get the. Yeah, it was not. It was more comfortable than I expected, but it was not great. But I wasn't too uncomfortable when I got up in the morning. I was surprised. I thought I was going to have some real back pain issues, but surprisingly, that fur rug that I put down helped shield me from the hard concrete floor. Somewhat. Oh, oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. That's we're very. It's sort of like it's like a Smurf. But you know how there's like chocolate and then dark chocolate? This is like the dark chocolate version of a Smurf. Like a dark blueberry. Ugh. Let me get. Getting it off my fingers is almost harder than getting it off my face. So then I just let it sit here. And I always get some in my eyes. So hopefully we look pretty. Am I pretty? Oh, let's do a quick. But look at that. I love the Blend Bunny well, this is Zero Balm. Never mind. You hate the reference of dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is lovely. Dark chocolate is my favorite. Because I love caramel, and caramel is very sugary. I was like, drool. She's a pretty girl. She's had a couple ciders. But I love it because then you can put something really sugary with like caramel with dark chocolate is so much better. Because then with milk chocolate, it's almost too sugary. I love it. Oh. Okay, let's get. This is a look. I have like a weird makeup beard stubble. Look at how the eyebrows are gone. I was like, if those eyebrows stick around, I'm gonna be real upset. Hello, Dion. How's it going? Yeah, I'm a pretty princess. Oh, there we go. I'll have to wash my hair to get that out of them. It's a very Fred Flintstone beard situation. Oh. Oh, yeah. I don't like it for referring to a person. I just like the chocolate. Oh. And I know that this is controversial yet brave. I also really like white chocolate. I prefer variations on chocolate rather than just milk chocolate. I love dark chocolate with some sea salt, with some caramel. I love white chocolate. And I know that some people, that's like heresy. They think that white chocolate isn't even chocolate. And technically it's not because it doesn't really have any cocoa in it. But I do love some white chocolate. It's just smooth and creamy and delicious. Oh, there we go. Oh. Do I like peppermint bark? Ooh, I do love peppermint bark. I think it's yummy. I like chocolate mint stuff. So like a peppermint bark mixed with chocolate. It's delicious. There we go. We got most of it. I'm sure I've got some chest makeup that I will get in the shower. Oh, I'm starting to get stuffed up again. I do. I love salt. Yeah, I love chocolate with salt. Caramel with salt, like a salted caramel. Oh. So occasionally some guy shows up in the chat, but they turn out to be queer. Just a very cool. Yeah. Yes, that happens. Editing and scheduling a video. Love that. I'm hoping I started. This is so dumb. This is how upside down I've been. Is that last year I filmed a video about the horror movie Leprechaun that I was going to post for St. Patrick's Day. And I got about 2/3 of the way done and I kind of abandoned it, and I still have all the files. And so I was like, well, maybe this year I'll just finish the edit and I'll just put it out as if I filmed it for this year. Because I was like, I do want to have a video talking about Leprechaun, but things got weird. I was waiting on somebody to send me a little video. They were going to send a little thing of why they like Leprechaun so much, because it's my friend Jerry's like favorite movie. And then he just got so busy that he never recorded it. And then I didn't have time to finish the video. And I was like, well, if he sends it to me, maybe I'll post the video late or whatever. And he just never sent it to me. And then I was like, well, now I feel like it's way too late. And so this year I might just put out my video that I filmed last year and just pretend. Just pretend. You thought it was weird, tried it, and then you're in love. You have an addiction to salt. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. That can sometimes indicate like imbalances when you have like cravings for I'm not a medical, clearly don't take medical advice from me, but I don't know what that means. I don't specifically know like if salt indicates anything. I often get low on iron, and I found out that if you chew ice cubes, like if you chew ice cubes when you have like a fountain drink or whatever, if you bite ice cubes and chew them, that usually indicates that you're low on iron. I don't know why. I don't know why that goes together, but apparently that can be a sign that you are low on iron if you have a craving to like chew ice cubes. The more you know, and star. Oh. Has been for a long time. Oh, yeah. Well, we're a salty family. We use plenty of salt in our food in our family. So you definitely learned that we love a salty dish. So yeah, I've always had a hankering for some salt. Oh, I've got glue on my ears. Bleh. Oh, I glue my earrings on with nail glue, and so then I have to like peel the glue off, and it's gross. So here I am, just potato face. Look at how easily that took it off. We turned into that weird blueberry for a little bit, and now we are all... I've done that before, Laura. I've done that before where I will, I have certainly like just poured out a little bit of salt and like licked it. I haven't done that for a long time, but I certainly have done that. Yeah, it's good to, sometimes you just need a little bit of salt. All right. And then now I can finally, these boobs. So here's Racy. Look at, I'm showing my boobs on the internet. So this is one of my boobs, the size of my head. Oh yeah, Dion Laura. Yeah. So Geese Police is Laura, and Dion is Dion Laura. Yes. So yeah. So this is the boob. So it's got a weird edge because this was like a breastplate. And I was so excited because everybody uses the breastplates and it's like a thing. And so I found a breastplate that was plus size and it was big enough, but for some reason they put the boobs like weirdly close together in the center of the chest. So like it wasn't wide enough. Like for as wide as my body is, the two boobs were like right in the center, like torpedoes. It was very strange. So I just cut them, and then I got a hole in the neck anyway. So I used it for a couple photo shoots and things, but then when I got the hole in the neck, I just cut the boobs off, and now I just use the boobs in my bra. And so I do have a smaller option if I want, but if I feel like I want the full Dolly Parton experience, we do. Um, yeah, we do that. And so then let me get the other one out. Oh, but they don't want to sit in this bra for some reason. I need to get a better bra because they keep moving. If I get sweaty, they start moving. So there's my other boob. So here I am flashing my boobs on the internet. So for any of those weird straight boys who happen to show up, here you go. Here's your boobs. There, we showed you some. This is the adult portion of the of the live. Uh all right. Just out here doxing everyone. I'm glad I gave my name already. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I do appreciate that, CJ, that we have your name so that we can when you get home is our bra. Yeah, I've still got the bra on. Now I've just got the boobs out on the bed. Yeah. That's why every once in a while I'll get a woman at a show who is like, "Isn't it tough having to carry those things around?" And I'm like, "Well, I can take them out and throw them in the trunk of my car whenever I want." So I was like, "I have it a little easier than you do because I can just take them off." Oh, let's see. Full blown stalker need to get a restraining order. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. If people are doing bad things, I think that you know they need to be talked about. We need to like put it out there. I'm here for it. I've and this is like very similarly, but like Anne Lamott is somebody that I really look up to, and she has a quote where she says, "Tell your stories. You own your stories. Like if someone wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better." So I don't think there's anything wrong with like putting people on blast if they're doing bad things. I don't think there's anything wrong with letting people know that they are doing bad things. So, all right. So now we're going to get into the fabulous stalker mask, my favorite. Pretty girl. Oofta. So here we have one of these Amora masks from Five Below. And all goopy. I know, Dion, this is your least favorite part. The goopy gel mask. Oh, let's see. Ah. The Leatherface. It is the Leatherface situation. Absolutely. Love to write a manuscript with a fountain pen carved from their bone. That's, I mean, I just like to shame people on the internet, but you do you. Oh, and now it's all gooped up. Okay. Oh, this is why I shouldn't try to do things with nails on. Because it gets weird. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh, this feels nice. Yeah. Okay. So we get the leather face situated. And then I've been charging my mask. I was gonna do this earlier today, and then the battery was dead. Well, now you won't see it because I'll put the light mask on top of it. There we go. Although this is pretty creepy too. So yeah, so there we go. So then we have this. It's this this hair just is the gift that keeps on giving. Hello, Janet. How's it going? We're doing a little de-dragging after the show tonight. Yeah, so here we have my LED light therapy mask. Yeah, so now it's a little bit like high-tech Michael Myers. It's very Michael Myers meets Megan. It's very creepy. Yeah, so but this is what happens. This is how I maintain my My youthful beauty. Because yeah, I've been telling people in December it'll be 25 years since I started doing drag. And then I just tell them, I'm like, so yeah, that means I started at 2 years old. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hello. You lost a lot. You lost a lot where? What happened? Uh-oh. You lost a lot where? Tell us what's happening. And then it gets kind of goopy at the bottom, but yeah, I do like this. I'm a fan of this. It is definitely a creepy glamour choice, but you missed a lot of the live. Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha. I smell what you're stepping in. But yeah, so we're just here. We're just kind of hanging out. I'm still in the dress. I'm still in all the undergarments. I haven't taken them off yet. And so yeah, we've just been chatting and just kind of hanging out, seeing what people are up to. So, anybody doing any fun things for the rest of the weekend? I'm pretty excited. I've got Nerd Herd tomorrow. Nerd Herd is my D&D group, and so we're going to be playing. Um, we're playing Curse of Strahd, and none of us are very serious at all. So it's like a serious horror campaign, and then we're all kind of like jokey characters. But you have the Omnilux for face and neck. I haven't. I got this through work, and I Jen Love had done that review of the shark, but the shark face mask like this is like $350, $400. So I was like, well, if I can get this free from work, I'm gonna try this and see if I like it. And if I do, I may at some point think about getting the shark mask. Although if I do like this, why not just keep this one instead of buying the shark? So I don't know. We shall see. But I have been liking this. I do feel like I see some differences. I feel like sometimes if I use it every single day and do the full 30 minutes, I feel like sometimes my skin gets a little bit angry, but in general, I do like it. Doing anything? Oh, thank God, no. I love that. You have a trip on Tuesday. Where are you headed, Janet? Let's see. I used to run the OG Ravenloft Strahd campaign back in the day. That was a blast. Yeah, I am fairly new to D&D. I've only played 5e and oh, to Philly. Exciting. Because you're from Texas, right? Am I getting that right? That you're from Texas? Yes, Shark is in the Shark Home Appliances. The Shark Home Appliances, they have a red light. It's like they have a heating and a cooling. So they have the red light and they also have a cooling option. And so I'm tempted by that one, but I was like, let's try the free version first. I do like the free version. You're originally from Philly. Well, that's exciting. So you get to go home and see familiar places. So that's fun. Yeah, I've only really done 5e, and I like it so far. Um, it's pretty good. I like it. So I'm with a group, and nobody's very serious, and so I had a different character concept. And then when everybody came and explained their characters, I was like, okay, clearly I need to make this more jokey, or I'm just going to be frustrated the whole time because we'll be in very different games. So I was like, we should definitely we should definitely so Eula is my Minotaur cleric, and she is very much based on influencers, and so she's got high charisma. Somehow she got high charisma, and so she kind of talks her way out of things, but she's really like an awful person, and so I really enjoy it. She's very much like she will sometimes be. We have a couple of people who are kind of the face of the party. We kind of switch it around depending on what's going on. But Eula will very much go in and just be like, "This little story you're telling, lovely, love that journey for you. Could you maybe help us with something practical?" And so she's very like fussy, and yeah, it's a good time. So I've been enjoying it. This is like the let's see. This is like the fourth character. I've been in a few campaigns that have like they've gone for a little while and then the scheduling gets weird, and so it kind of falls apart, and then we try a new one, and then it falls apart. Um, 3 stone kobolds in a trench coat. I love that. Yeah, so this you would fit in with this campaign because like we have one guy who's basically a plasmoid, and so like when I shut up, he's like, "I'm goop," and I was like, "Oh, so that's what we're doing with Strahd. We're not being very serious." And then we've got somebody who's like they're basically a yuan ti, which is like a snake folk, but they've skinned it like their flavoring is that it's a worm like who ate a page of the Necronomicon and became a warlock. And so we have a giant worm in the party. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do the jokier version of this. Lived in Corpus Christi for about a year, 11 or 12. Very exciting. I have only lived in North Dakota. I have not lived anywhere else. I've traveled other places, but I have only lived in Bowbells, where I grew up, and then I moved to Grand Forks, and I have been Grand Forks ever since college. So, a 3 foot pixie that rode on a battle corgi. I like it. I like it. Sometimes I like the goofy characters. I'm definitely with a group that if you want to take it seriously, you're gonna get frustrated, because it's definitely they like the a 3-inch pixie that rides a battle corgi. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, my first ever character was a dragonborn sorcerer, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I was a Dompier cleric. Big old lesbian, Clem. Her name was Clem. She's a big old lesbian. And then the next one, the one that we played the longest, her name was Sansara. She was a Yuan-Ti sorcerer. I like sorcerers. I like magic. If I'm going to play in like a high fantasy campaign, I want to do magic. I don't want to just hit with a sword, all that kind of stuff. And so I usually end up playing sorcerer. Sorcerer is my favorite. I do like clerics from time to time, but I've lived in Philly, Raleigh, Chicago, and Houston. I'm in Colorado now. I was born in Kansas City and grew up on the farm about 2 hours from there. And Easley, South Carolina. Oh. I've never been to South Carolina. I've been to North Carolina. I went to a horror convention in Charlotte, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So this, yeah, there's not really much I can do when this is on. It's just so you enjoyed the country more. Yeah, I enjoyed growing up in Bowbells. I could never live in a place like that again. It's fine to go visit, and there were things about it that were great for growing up, but in terms of even Grand Forks now, I've gotten so used to like having access to certain things, and like Grand Forks used to have more 24-hour things, and now even a lot of those have gone away, and I'm frustrated with like where are the 24-hour things? Like why can I not just go get a meal? Like if I want to, I think we have the IHOP is technically 24 hours, but like nobody's ever there. And then there's a truck stop that's 24 hours. We used to have a 24-hour Perkins back in the day. We used to have a 24-hour Denny's. The Denny's is gone. We just don't have like, because like tonight after a couple ciders, would I love to go out and have some chicken fried steak? Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would. I would love to. Uh, I'd say I enjoy it more, but it gets in your blood and doesn't leave. Yeah. I don't, there is something, I think, especially growing up, there's something about small towns that it has a special kind of experience and it gives you a special perspective on things. And I'm glad that I have it, and I'm glad that I don't have to ever do it again. So that it's so quiet. I get myself cooked and have a nice steak prepared for me to cook. Yeah, I also sometimes when I go home, depending on like I forget if it's like a new moon, I forget how fucking dark it is out in the country. Because we live like my mom's house is right on the edge of town and there aren't a ton of street lamps around. There's like one or two that are in the area. And if it's a new moon and if there's not a lot of stars out, it's dark. It's like fucking cave dark. Like it's I go outside to my car to get something and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? It is bananas. It is bananas. Yes, grandma's house is perfectly situated because it's right on the edge of town. So we still get like city water and all of that, but it's like not in town and it's like far enough out. It's like a little bit private. And it can be if there aren't stars out and if it's like a new moon, because the nearest like street lamp is by like the drive-in, the Tasty Freeze, I think. And so like it can be like dark, 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 dark. And then if it's like bright, and sometimes so like if there's northern lights, so if it's one of those times where the northern lights are brighter, in Bowels, North Dakota, you see I mean, it's a light show. It is a laser show. It is so good because it's just there's so much the light is just more natural because it's not tons and tons of street lamps. Yeah, it's maybe not like cave dark, but it's like it's dark. Like it's and it's like when you're in a city, you're never even when it's dark, it's never that dark. And so I always like I get so used to just like the city dark that when I go out there, I'm just always like surprised of like, wow, like this is how it gets when it's like dark. Dark, dark. Yeah. It's wild. And it is there's something nice about it. I wouldn't like it in a cave. I don't like caves because I get a little bit icked out with I get a little claustrophobic. So it is interesting to like be able to like move around and know you're not trapped, but still have that darkness. I love it. Oh, what color should we do next? So that's the question. Whenever I do one of these, where's the little box? Okay. So we do the red for 15 minutes, and then for the next 15 minutes, should I do blue, yellow, green, purple, cyan, or white? So blue is acne care, oil control, calming properties. Yellow is brightens skin, detoxifies, improves texture. I do yellow a lot. Green is soothes, balances, and stabilizes. Vague, but I still like to do it every once in a while. Purple is target acne scars and promotes healing. Cyan is boosts metabolism and energy. And white reduces fine lines and enhances skin renewal. Green. So we've got a couple votes for green. Yeah, it's very vague the description. It's like soothes, balances, and stabilizes. So yeah, let's do some green because this should be turning off pretty soon. I think. I feel like I've had this on close to 15 minutes. I don't know. I feel like I should pose with this mask and these nails. Oh, this is my favorite part after a show when I come home and like do the like sticky mask and do this mask and oh, it just feels so nice. Yeah, I think we'll soothe it. Thanks, Janet. I feel like I am pretty well preserved. I feel like I don't look I don't even know what that means. It's such a weird thing to say, but like I feel like I don't look my age. Like I feel like my skin is in pretty good shape for the most part. There's some things that could use a little bit more attention, but I think in general my skin is in pretty good shape because I mean, basically from the time I turned like 18, I've done some sort of skincare fairly regularly. Even if I was broke and I had to do like cheap skincare, I was doing some sort of skincare. So generally, like for the most part, like some kind of skincare is better than no skincare. Okay, so we're gonna do green. Okay, I get turned around. Where's the button? There we go. I know it doesn't look green, but on the camera it looks kind of blue, but this is the green setting. Yeah, my skin is in pretty good shape for the most part. I do get very pink. I get very like I have it's not like full on rosacea. Um yeah, I do. Well, thank you. Yeah, so I do like to do little treatments. I love a good mask from time to time. And so I always just tell people, I'm like, even if you don't want to put a lot of money into skincare, some kind of skincare is better than no skincare. And so even just like cleaning your skin and putting some kind of little moisturizer on it. And then it's also kind of fun. So I've been playing around with my nighttime skincare. So like I do my daily skincare. I don't do it every day. I'm kind of a slacker, but my like day skincare is where I do the good stuff. That's where I do the like more expensive products. I do a little bit of an investment in it. My nighttime skincare is a little bit wild because like when I go out during the day, I don't want to look greasy. I don't want to look like I've got a bunch of stuff all over my face. When I'm just going to bed and it's just me, I don't care. So like I like to play and try new things. And so my nighttime skincare is where I basically go into TJ Maxx and Five Below, and I just look in the like $5 to $10 range, and I just try things because I'm like, even if it's not doing the most, it's gonna do something. It's gonna have some sort of benefit that's gonna help my skin. And I put it on thick at night since I'm just going to bed by myself. I slather it on, and so I really like because I'm buying like $7 creams at TJ Maxx, and so I'm like, let's slather it on and then when we use it up, we'll try a different one. So I don't really have any like staples, but I have things that I try. Just I know the kinds of ingredients that I like and the certain kinds of things I want them to do, but I don't have like specific brands or things. Oh, okay. Age. So do I say? So does Deanne? So does Grace? All it means is we aren't doing silly damage. Um, in my what the Janet. Yeah, I do. I feel like, and that's the thing is, I go back and forth because I think that also being a larger person helps because I don't have a lot of wrinkles, and part of that is because any wrinkles that I would have are like filled with Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know what's going on here. So like being a larger person does help in that way. Yeah, I do. Oh, you did change your profile pic. I love it, and thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. Um, what sun stuff do you use? So I don't. I That's the one thing where I'm bad because I know it's sort of a do as I say, not as I do. I don't use sunscreen. I don't use sunscreen because I've never found one that I liked that didn't look goopy and look gross on the skin. I just I'm never outside. So that's what's helped me is that like I don't wear sunscreen because I'm an indoor cat. Like I don't like go on beach vacations. I don't when I go to like if I go to a beach or if I like when I did a work trip to the Philippines, obviously I brought like sunscreen and I put sunscreen on there because that's crazy. You would have to. And I still got burnt. I still burnt the shit out of my skin. But like when I'm just here in North Dakota, even like during the summer, I hate the heat. So like I'm only in the sun literally to run to my car to the office where it's air conditioned back to my car, back to my house. Like I don't go outside. That's my sunscreen. Is that I don't go outside. Uh yeah, and then when it's winter, you're never outside because it's fucking cold. Just now, yeah, I kind of forgot. So very little sun damage. Yeah, that's yeah, and I don't, and I use a lot of lip balms and things, so my lips get some SPF. But uh, I meet in person. They ask, they don't believe I'm my age. Yeah, I think yes. That's it. Then that's the thing is because I watched a documentary where this guy lost like 200 pounds and gained like 40 years. So that because being a bigger person, like yeah, if I lost weight, that the filler that's in those wrinkles would go away. And so definitely. And so yeah, like if for being larger to help you, you have to stay larger. Like that that's part of it. And so yeah, no, I think I get what you're saying, Jen. I get what you're saying about like because also the way 50 looks or the way 45 looks or all those different things. I think we have a different perception of it now than we did. Because I mean, I grew up in the 80s. Like the Golden Girls were all supposed to be like 45 to 55 in that first season. And I'm like, well, I don't look like a Golden Girl. Jesus. And so, but I think that now like 45, 50, 55 looks different. Um, do I look 50 to you? No, but you used to. I love that. That's good. Yeah, and a lot of it is perception and it is vanity. Like I understand that and we've talked about this before, but like as somebody who has dealt with like pretty severe mental health issues and self-harm thoughts and things like that, like I'm not at all annoyed to be my age. Like I'm not ashamed to be my age. I don't lie about my age. I'm sure there are some apps that I'm on where it says the wrong age just because it doesn't auto update every year. And so then like I'll forget. And so all of a sudden I'll look at it and I'll be like, am I still telling people that I'm 42? Like what's happening? And so yeah. Yeah, we got this tree grows some nuts, that's for sure. We certainly we definitely have some issues that go across, and I get it from both sides because my dad's side of the family, there's lots of mental health issues and alcoholism and things like that. So yeah, so definitely, so as somebody who like spent many years thinking they weren't going to make it to 48, like I'm not ashamed to be 48. I'm not like upset to be 48. I don't think there's anything wrong with being 48. It just means you didn't die for 48 years. And so like I don't, but I do think that like I for 48 I feel like the skin is pretty well preserved. So I feel like it's pretty uh I feel like it's pretty well together. This is so weird to just sit here and look at my face in this weird mask. And you can't really see my eyes, like you can kind of see them, but they're kind of blocked. I feel like I've got some like Snapchat filter on or something where it's just like overlaid. Like it looks like something that you would have on Snapchat. Yeah. One side is alcoholism and one side I have an actual affliction to buy cards. Yes, we are definitely from your dad's side. There's definitely shopping impulses. We love to shop, we love to collect, we love to hoard. We love a knickknack on this side of the family. Uh yeah, I think we're all looking pretty good. I think we're all looking pretty good. I think we're all yeah, it does. It kind of matches the little teal sequin dress. Yeah, I think we're looking good, but I do like to put in a little bit of effort to keep it looking good. Because every once in a while I've been doing it again, y'all. I've been going on Tinder. Jesus. Oh, why do I even bother? I I just where do people meet other people? Because I know that like people used to meet through like apps and things, and I feel like these apps have just degraded to such a point. What is happening? What is actually happening? Why are men? That's what I want to know. I want to know why are men? Full stop. That's the whole question. Why are men? Like why are they? Why are they like that? Why do they do that? Why do they say that? What is happening? Because the absolute dregs that I find. Met the cute trans guy I'm going on a date with on Tinder. Oh, I love that. Oh, the youths. They still have hope. Because the other problem, so let me tell you, you want to see I'm the ghost of queer Christmas future right here. Let me tell you. Because when you go on these apps, trying to find somebody who is age appropriate to me, because I do not want to date a 20 something. My babysitting days are over. Over. I have no interest. I have people who are like older than me, and I have people who are like beyond my age limit, my like age ceiling, who I'm too old for them. Like they're looking for is like 18 to 32. And I'm like, what? Because for me, I feel comfortable. Like if I'm talking dating, if we're talking about a hookup, if we're talking about just having a little sexy time, that's different. But if we're talking about like somebody to potentially date, I feel comfortable 10 years above, 10 years below. That's kind of where I stick to. That's what feels most comfortable. 10 above, 10 below. So that means my ceiling is like 58 down to 38 for dating. I have people who are in their 60s who in their profile will say that I am too old for them. And I'm like, what planet are you living on? And I understand that the economy is terrible, and I understand that demon twinks, heaven forbid they should have to get a job. They need someone to pay their rent. God bless them. But I'm like, what is happening to men? Like, what is going on? What is going on? Now, when you're younger, it's different, right? Because like 10 years above or below doesn't really work if you're 19. Because you shouldn't be dating a 9-year-old, right? Like, I understand that. And I had daddy issues, so I fucked a lot of older men. And the older men are looking for it. So like I get it. But now when I'm in my like 40s and when I was in my 30s, that like 10-year age range, I would maybe consider again, and for like sexy time, that's different. I have more because we're ships passing in the night. If somebody was 27, I could be okay with that. Like I could live with that. But we're not gonna have a future together. I'm gonna start talking about shit that's like pre-internet, and they're not gonna know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? I haven't. Let's see. I haven't. That was when I was in high school. Oh, that was when you were in high school and dating apps. Yes, there's so many bots too. There's so many bots on the dating app. It's so disgusting. And they all have the same story. I don't know what these bots are doing. I don't know if they ever make any money because they all use the same pictures and the same story, and it's so bizarre. That was when you were in high school and had Tinder. Gotcha. Haven't had Tinder for years. Don't go back. Don't go back, Laura. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's where hope goes to die. It is the worst. I look to put in effort too. Sometimes I screw up my skin barrier. I look horrendous for a few days. Yeah, I and definitely sometimes I'll experiment with things, and all of a sudden my face will be like very red and angry, and I'll be like, "Ooh, that's not good." 18 to 32 is a wide range, but if you are 65, it's the wrong range. And I know we're not supposed to yuck people's yums, but I will say it. I think that if you are 60 and your looking for range is 18 to 32, I have questions. I have questions. Especially when it starts at 18, because I'm like, that's somebody they're definitely aware of the legalities, and so they've stopped at a point that is legally required. And I feel like if they were not forced to do that, that's all I'm saying about that. I met a person here on YouTube actually. We became fans of each other's channels and became friends on Discord. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. Your range is insane than 10 only. I think when you're younger, I think it's fine to like when you're younger, that's when you should be. I always say this at shows too. I'm like, that's when you should be getting out there and like having fun and sowing your wild oats. Like, good God, like suck a dick. Like what or if that's what you're into, suck a dick. If you like to, you know, if you like to go downtown, eat at the Y, do that. Have the sex while you're young, experiment, try things, figure out what you like, and then just do it. Just get out there and do it. That's what those times are for, because eventually then you're my age and your knees are bone powder and hope because you wear hooker shoes and you jump off of stages, and now you have to wear flat shoes, and then everybody looks at you a little bit sad because you have to wear ballet flats. Do it. Have the sex. Be wild. Be crazy. They're attempting to regain their youth. Yes, That's what I want to tell people, like, do you think that you can fuck yourself younger? Because you can't. So having sex with a younger person is not going to make you younger. You're going to be 65 tomorrow. You're 65 today. You were 65 yesterday. You're going to stay the same age. Having sex with a young person, uh, Ray is 43, 10 years younger than me. See, I like that 10 years. That's a comfortable number for me. Like, it could move a little bit or whatever, but I just feel like to make sure our cultural references line up somewhat. Oh, there we go. So now I don't have to scream through this. I feel like I'm screaming. I don't know what it is. It's the cider. Let's be real. It's the cider. And then let me just wipe out the goopy stuff from this mask. Oh, that feels so good. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And I am kind of stuffed up, but yeah, because see, I don't have a lot of like the eye wrinkles, like the crow's feet. I have little bits, but not that much. I love it. Oh, I dated someone 15 years younger. My friends thought he was older. I dated someone 15 years older, and he talked about stuff I should have never been. Yeah, that's age differences can be tough. And I say that now as somebody who looks back, because I mean, I had daddy issues. That's a whole other thing. And so I was sometimes drawn to like the older men who were that kind of like father figure. They seemed like they had it all together. Like I was fresh out of the closet. And so somebody who had been out and doing this for a while, look at this hair. But yeah, it was just like some of it was not good. I have an 80-year-old soul. I've been compared to 30. That one sweet boy has been here since the start. Yeah. I yeah, I get what you're saying. I love to just go out on dates once in a while. Yeah, that's the thing. I miss does nobody date anymore? That's the other thing, is that like all of these people, it's just like they just want to hook up, and it's like nobody just wants to like have a date anymore. And I'm like, I just miss like going out on a date, like having fun and just like having a quick date, have a little dinner, have a little conversation. That's what I miss. Yeah, your knees. Oh, I've made such poor choices with my knees. Bone powder and hope. Yeah. Oh, a boy, a person offered to cheat. Yeah, that's. I don't have time for it. I'm too tired for all the shenanigans that happen. I have daddy issues. Yeah, I think that I just never had like a real kind of like strong. My relationship with my dad was complicated until the day he died. It's still complicated. And so I just was looking for somebody who was who was like together, because I always felt like my life and what I was doing was so chaotic that when like a man seemed like stable and like even kind of boring, like it was just like, oh, good. Yeah, I wish I do have some styling cream in the bathroom. I could make a little. I could wear this as like a little mohawk if I wanted to. I could just kind of do a little fun thing. Wrinkles are nothing. Bone reabsorption gel, something else. Yeah, that's the part of me that's aging, is like this down here, this little situation. But although I've had this since my 20s, so like, but yeah, the jowliness, I'm like, that's what ages me, is like the wrinkles. I don't have a lot of that, but then I get a little jowly, I get a little it's tough. And then also every time I stand up out of a chair, it sounds like a rave where everybody's clicking their fucking glow sticks. It's just like crack, 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 crack. It's terrible. I love a bagel and coffee. I love a bagel with peanut butter, not even toasted, just like a plain bagel. Oh, I love it. Plain. I don't even need any sesame seeds or any of that shit on it. Plain bagel with peanut butter. When I used to travel to Seattle all the time, I would always stay at the Homewood Suites. And the Homewood Suites on Pike Street in Seattle had the best fucking plain bagels in the world. And every single day when I was going down to catch my Uber to go to work, I would grab a plain bagel and some peanut butter and take it into the office. I'm not even a breakfast person, and that was so good. 60 to 70 men can't hook up. It might not work that day. Truth. Truth. Thank you. I love these glasses. These are from the Iris Apfel collection from Zenny. I love these. These are so cute. I have some big, like, round green ones too. I love it. The glasses. Relationship with dad is strengthening. That's good. I'm glad to hear that you're working on that. Clicking party. Yeah, it's, let me tell you, that's the one thing, like, that's the only time that I like have looked at a younger person. It's not like a sexual sort of attraction, but like every once in a while you'll see like some 19, 20-year-old and they'll just get up out of a chair. They'll just get up out of a chair. There's not a crack. There's not like, there's no, they just get up out of a chair. And I just look at them and I'm just like, that's fucking hot. That's so hot. That that's the only time that I'm just like, I remember when I used to be able to just get out of a chair. God, God, that's hot. Okay. Oh, I love it. A bagel and coffee date. I love that. I love that. I just, yeah, it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be like fancy dinner. It doesn't have to be, I just sometimes love going out and yeah, they're getting ready to come off pretty soon. But yeah, I love these star nails. I think these are Kiss nails. I'm such a fan of Kiss nails. Hello, Joe. Hello, fabulous Joe. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Hello, hello. Yeah. Yeah, we got lucky. I have to tell you, like our family in general, because growing up in Bowbells, North Dakota, like I still don't understand it. There's no reason why we should not be like horrible, Trumpy redneck people. And like in our family, we're just not. Like my mom does have one brother who I think is starting to lean a little bit Trumpy, but he's not one of those like putting up Trump flags and shit like that. He's maybe a little bit more conservative, but like we somehow just, our family created this little like blue pocket in this horrible like Red Sea. I just, there's something about it. Something clicked for us where we just were like, oh, we should not be terrible people. Like, yeah. Yeah, I think it's tough. And I get it. And I don't, how to say this. I mean, I think that like, I think now like people are starting to like get it. It's always tougher. The closer it is to you, the more of an adjustment period it is. Because I think that like my brother never had like a real strong reaction to me coming out, but my brother and I have never been super close. So it was kind of just like more information. And then so it didn't really affect. I think when it's closer, then like there's a little bit of navigating and readjusting. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I just, some of our family is a little bit, they're a little bit uptight. They're a little bit, so they're not like Trumpy and whatever, but like it's a lot for them. But yes. Oh yeah, I appreciate that, Janet. Yeah. Family is so divided. I always worry about that. That's the kind of thing like I'm so happy that we don't have to face that because there's so in North Dakota, I look around and I realize I'm like, even in Grand Forks is the more like liberal area, but even like so the election results, like in Bowbells, the election was like 95% for Trump. Here it was still like 2/3. So I'm like, that means 2 out of every 3 people that I run into, if you go law of averages, 2 out of every 3 people that I run into are going to be assholes. Like, they're not going to be like mean to your face or whatever, but like at this point, we know what he stands for. We know what that is. So if 2/3 of people still voted for him, I'm like 2 out of every 3 people that I run into. That's what makes me jaded. That's why I don't go out a lot. That's why I don't try to meet people because I'm just like, it's a numbers game, and the numbers are not. The odds are never in our favor. They just are not. And so but I worry about that. Like when I hear stories of people who are like, oh, I'm going to see that uncle at Thanksgiving, I'm going to see that uncle at Christmas, and I'm like, I'm so glad that I don't that I don't have to face that. I don't have to worry about that. At least in my like home life, like I don't have to deal with that, and I love that. I love that. Um, oh yeah, let's see. CJ is Carrie Jocelyn. I love that. That's a lovely name. Thanks. I love this dress too. This is from Bloom Chic. This is my little, it's a little like wrap dress. It's got a little, I've untied the little wrap thing. Like it's all, it doesn't unwrap, like it's not a full wrap dress, but it's a wrap dress look. And so it's got a little bow that I have untied. My dad was accepted, in my opinion, loves his brother. He just is also very introverted. Yeah, my brother and I have just never been, we didn't like really get along as kids. I think we were just too far apart in age. We're about 3.5 years different. And I was the annoying little brother that like wanted to tag along, but I was never, they would never wanted to like slow down. They would ride their bikes too fast. I was always like, wait, and we just didn't like, we never connected in that sort of way. And so now we've gotten older and we just have never developed that like really kind of close relationship. But there's no animosity. Like as kids we used to fight a lot, and but now it's just kind of like whatever. It's not contentious, it's not fraught, but we're just not like, we don't keep up like that. Really liked your handle. Cass County was the only blue county. Yeah, Grand Forks is a little bit more liberal, but still. Where do you get your glasses style? So this, I love Zenny. This is an Iris Apfel. She died not too long ago. She's lovely. She was like this older lady that just had fabulous style. And so I get a lot of glasses on Zenny because they're so cheap. Because if you don't want anything crazy and if you don't have like a really wild prescription, you literally just pay for the frame. So now I have bifocals. That's the part where age does just continue on, is that I finally had to get bifocals. And so now my glasses are like, the lenses are like $30. So whatever the frame is plus about $30. But it used to be like, I had a pair of glasses before I got bifocals that were $8 because they had a pair of plastic frames that were just $8. And if you didn't get any of so like I buy a lot of stuff on Zenny because I love that I can just get like fun glasses like this for like $40, $50. And that's with the like bifocal lenses. If I get sunglasses, I don't get bifocals with my sunglasses. So those, that you pay a little bit for the tint, but they're like $20 or whatever. So I'm such a fan of Zenny, and I love this Iris Apfel collection. I just think they're so fun. They're so good. This is exactly what I've been hearing. Yeah. Zenny, yeah. So Zenny, it's Zenni, and they have really cute stuff. But the Iris Apfel, she does these like big, because I love big, because I shave my eyebrows off so you can see like I don't have eyebrows. And so I do love having big framed glasses because it makes it less obvious that I don't have eyebrows. Oh. You were the Satan spawn, Janet. Yeah, I was the one who didn't fit in. Like my family's very how to describe it. So like my grandparents and we were never like super, like most of my family, not very like emotionally expressive. It was very much like you knew that they loved you because if you needed money, they gave it to you. Like my grandpa would always change your oil. Like it was very much like acts of service was their overall love language. So it wasn't that like people didn't love each other. There wasn't a lot of fights, but there wasn't a lot of like emotional talking. And then I came along and I was the one who wanted to I wanted to talk about everything. I wanted to talk about every emotion. I wanted to talk about every thought that came into my head. And everybody was like, where did this one come from? Like, where did this one, what happened? Like, what is going on? Because I would always like want to bring up emotions and then be like, do you need $20? Like, could you just take this? Could you just take it and go? It's fine. So like not very like comfortable talking about emotional stuff. And I was just like, let's do it all. Let's talk about all of it. And so so it was very like definitely a learning curve. I have been a learning curve for most of my family, to kind of help them like figure out new shit. And so uh it's been wild. It's been wild. I think my siblings and I traded those roles over the years now and then, except that my parents knew I was queer before even I did. And that's the part that I don't get. Let me tell you, as a kid, I'm not afraid to say, I was a limp wristed sissy when I was young. I went absolutely. And that's the thing that like I think is the toughest is most of my adult life has been like trying to unpack like what are the things that I actually love? What are the things that I actually enjoy? And that's part of why this whole Janessa character came along is that there's this great quote where it's like queer people don't grow up as ourselves. And so we have to, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's like we have to spend all this time unpacking what are the things that are actually us and what are the things that we created to fit in. And so I like when I was a kid, I got told I was a sissy and I was gay and all this kind of stuff. And so I tried to like rein it in and I tried to figure out the proper way to behave and all this kind of stuff. And I was never good at it and I was never doing it right. And so then like part of like becoming Janessa was about like, let me explore that. Let me explore femininity and all this kind of stuff. And let me play with it and, figure out how it works and figure out what's going on. And so like it's just like trying to figure out like what are the things that I actually enjoy, because there is sometimes a little bit of a weird divide between like the boys in makeup and drag queens. There is sometimes a bit of tension, a bit of friction there. And I was like, I think I understand it, because I think for me, like embracing femininity, I had to like create a separate character. And so it took a long time before I was willing to be even more expressive in how I dress, like outside of drag, to like bring in more of that femininity. I was always like, well, okay, I'm going to explore femininity and I'm going to reclaim this, but I'm going to do it in this space over here that is this character, that is this thing. And we don't have to do that in our real life. We'll just kind of put that off. And of course, Janessa grew bigger and bigger and became more a part of my life. And so now I'm like, trying to figure that out, and I'm trying to and like I've never like figured out my gender identity. I'm still figuring all that kind of shit out. The only thing is like when I'm looking at terms, like I've said this before, that I've kind of settled on uncomfortably non-binary, because I'm just like, when I see what like is presented to me in the world as non-binary, I'm like, well, that doesn't exactly feel like home. It doesn't feel like me, but it's closer, because if I look at like cisgender, I'm like, ew, not that. That's not me. And I said that once before, and a random person came in. I'm not saying that being cisgender is bad. I'm not saying that that's bad for anyone else. If that's who you are, I love that for you. I love that journey. I look at it for me, and I'm like, ew, not that. And so, like, then I'm like, okay, but then what am I? What am I? Like, what's going on? And so, trying to figure out like what it is. Let's see. Mom and dad are wild. Dad, yeah. I do have to say, Laura, that I've always like just like your personality and seeing you grow up, I was like, I saw a lot of like young me and young you. And so I definitely was like, I'm gonna keep an eye on that one. I'm gonna keep an eye on that one, because I think they might be, I know they're family, but they might be in the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, let's keep an eye. Because I think that we do approach things, we have the same kind of emotional nature. I think there's some very similarities, a lot of similarities there. I was the son my dad never had. Can't explain that. Interesting. The unpacking I have in literal. I'm dressing a very big point on Except for 300. My dad was obvious, so am I. We never discriminate. Yeah, and that's something I think part of me, that's one thing that I've kind of figured out over the years, is that because my brother and I grew up with my mom, who was a single mom in the 80s when it was still kind of a thing. I know that like divorce had become much more common by the 80s or whatever, but like in a small town like Bowbells, of the kids that were in school, there were two families that were divorced, like that were where there were kids that lived in like single parent families, and the other one had money. So like we were kind of the odd ones out. And so that was something that, my mother never like, I don't think she ever had the like full like sit down talk with me about this kind of thing. But one value that I always got from my mother of was like, you don't have to like people. You don't have to. You can dislike anybody you want. That's fine. Like some people are shit. Like that's my mom is very like in some ways. Um, I love it that she's a little bit kind of blunt and she'll like call a spade a spade. But my mother was always very much about like if you're gonna dislike them because of who they are, what their choices are, how they behave, how they treat you, not because somebody doesn't have money, because we don't have money, not because of the color of their skin, not because of any of these other things, not because they belong to some group. That has nothing to do with how they behave. If you dislike somebody, dislike them because of how they treat with you, how they bring themselves to the world. And that I think has really shaped so much of who I am and so much of like how I like approach the world. And not that I've ever been, I'm still learning. I'm still like encountering new places where I realize that I have like unconscious bias or yeah, like there's still places where I have blind spots. We're going to have blind spots, but I think I'm more open to it because of my mother was just like we struggled when we were young. I think my mom did a great job of like keeping how much of the struggle was there, at least for me. I don't know my brother's perspective. I don't know if he felt like he knew more about the fact, like I didn't grow up. It wasn't until I was a much older, like high school, that I realized like, oh, I think we didn't have a lot of money growing up. Like I think we were maybe kind of poor. Like not just like, oh, we don't have money for that or whatever. Like there were times where we were pretty poor. And so I don't know if he was more aware of that, but our family always did a good job of like not making us feel like we were poor. Let's see, we never discriminate. Oh gosh. Maya is the girl of grandma's stepdaughter. I don't know who that is. Grandma's stepdaughter. Janet, you're oblivious? Oh, I saw something earlier where she said she was obvious. Maybe she meant oblivious. I can't say. Yeah, I don't know. And like that's the thing is my brother and I have just never talked about these things, and maybe at some point we will we'll sit down and have a discussion. Where's the thing is I matured a long time ago. Yeah. I don't that was the thing is that I just never, because some of the things that we did that were like, because now I always love on TikTok, I'll find people who talk about like poor people shit, and I'll be like, oh yeah. Because one thing, so this is one of the examples that I found, and I remember this, and it drove me crazy. We would, like when shampoo and conditioner get low, we would like mix water into the bottle to get more uses out of it. And I hated that. I hated that. And I was on TikTok and somebody was like, that's poor people shit. Like that's some poor people shit when you are like mixing water into your like shampooing and I get it. Like there's all kinds of different reasons. There are some people who just don't like waste. And so the idea of wasting any of that kind of stuff, um, so that's the thing too. Like it doesn't have to mean that, but like it's one of those things of like, oh, that was something we did because it stretched things out longer and it went. And so now that's one of the things that I just have decided, like, and I'm not like rolling in it either, right? Like I'm a single parent family. Janessa is my child and she takes all my fucking money. But that's one of the things where now I just like I'm just like, you can just throw the shampoo away. It's fine. If you're down to the bottom and you can't squeeze any more out, you don't have to add water. Just throw it away. It's fine. Just throw it away. I mean, I buy my shampoo. This is the longest I've had my hair in ages. I buy my shampoo at the Dollar Tree. Throw it away. You can afford $2.50 for another set of shampoo and conditioner. Like, it's and so that's one of those things that, like, because it like triggers me back to that, and I'm just like, oh, I remember that. I remember being frustrated by that, and like and it was because then it was all liquidy, and you're trying to. It was not good. He's a huge role model. I love that. I'm oblivious, just like my dad. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like mixing the shampoo and water. That's one of those things. And I used to love, and this was the thing, like it probably helped. I'm sure my mom was like relieved because one of the things that I loved were those little spaghetti dinners. It's kind of like the little box of mac and cheese, but it would be a little bit of spaghetti. And like, so like meat was expensive, but I loved just that sauce. Like you would mix up some tomato sauce with the herb packet that came in. I used to love that shit. And so every once in a while I'd be like, can we have spaghetti dinner? And I'm sure my mom was like, yes. Yes, we can. Oh, yeah. And so like my family did a good job of making sure that we were always taken care of. We were always, and I had toys, like, and that was the thing. Like another thing that, I mean, we did a lot of rummage sailing and thrifting, that kind of stuff. But I just loved it. Like I loved getting in the van. My grandma had a minivan, and we would get in the minivan and we would go. They would have like citywide rummage sales, and I would just find like treasures. And I loved that kind of stuff. Not even like in my brain, not thinking that that was something we did to like save money. That sometimes you couldn't always afford to buy like new things, like stuff that was brand new. You couldn't just buy all the stuff new, but I just loved it. It was like an adventure, and I still love thrifting and I love rummage sales. And so that was something that, even though it was maybe part of a situation, it never felt like a negative thing to me. It was always like a joy. It was always like, I really treasure those memories of like rummage sailing with my grandma and my mom and my aunt. My aunt, she could fill a van like nobody's business. Auntie Shelly, she was always finding shit that we didn't have room for. Oh, I became so particular about my hair. I spend 50 to 139 on shampoo and conditioner. That's wild. But you have longer hair, so I mean, I can kind of see it. That 50 to 139 feels like a lot, but I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but I'm like, but I do. And even now, like, I feel kind of fancy because I have like some fancy shampoo and conditioner that I got at Ulta, but I got it because it was on clearance. But it was like the Wicked for Good, like tie-in products. It's this brand called Kristen S. And they had a Glinda and an Elphaba. Elphaba's the shampoo and Glinda's the conditioner, and it smells really nice. And I'm like, oh, is this what fancy shampoo? And for a while, I used to buy Wen. I've talked about that before. That I used to buy Wen and do like and that was $32 a bottle, which felt insane. But I actually, my hair felt better when I was using Wen, and so. But then you couldn't get it in stores anymore, and I didn't want to do that whole sign up. Oh, pretty girl. Yeah, I'm happy of my upbringing, but my goodness, the dysfunction. That's part of what it is, and I think that's been tough. And I think that my mom and I are in a better place because when I was in undergrad, after I'd come out, my mom and I had sometimes a little bit of a rockier relationship, and I started going to a therapist for a while. And I think she thought I was just going to like talk about her and how terrible she was. And I think now she's come around to the idea of like, everybody could benefit from mental health help. So I think that, but yeah, like sometimes there's dysfunction, but it doesn't, I mean, so much of like our relationships, all of our relationships, family relationships, friend relationships, it's coming into the idea of that, like most of the time people are doing the best that they can. And so like figuring out like if something's off or something hurts your feelings or whatever, it's not purposeful. It's just people are doing the best that they can with the resources and the time and the energy and the spoons and whatever metaphor you want to use at that time. And so letting go of some of the like little stuff, like talk about the big stuff and hold on to the big stuff, but yeah, that some of it is just like, is that the battle? Is that the hill you want to die on? Are you joking? Even though there were times as a kid I was hungry and didn't have food, I was too young to understand the terminology. Yeah, I was in college and I really kind of, I mean, I think as a high school, I kind of figured some of it out, but if they have the full Grayskull He-Man set at Comic-Con next year, I already have 300 set aside. Yeah, that's the other thing. Can I tell you about how so much of my adult life has been buying all the toys that I didn't get to have as a kid? Because there was some stuff that, like, I mean, I had a lot of toys. I did not, I was not bereft of toys for sure, but you couldn't have everything. I would have loved, I mean, I just loved toys. I wanted all of them. I wanted all, and I did have a fair amount of like girl toys. But now, like, there's so many like She-Ra dolls and Barbie dolls and things that I wanted that, like, now I'm like, you're an adult, you have money, you can buy whatever the fuck you want. So like going back, it is very healing to like, oh yeah, like I get it. Yeah, it's bigger bags on them, it's more product in total. Yeah, so sometimes like, yeah, so if you're buying like bulk stuff, that's different, that's maybe a little bit better. If you're buying like bottles of shampoo for that much, I'm gonna side eye that a little bit. Could have yard sales and end up with more stuff than when she started. I am the person that people just bring things to. So like, people are always like, do you want this? And I have a hard time saying no, but I also tell people, I'm like, don't give it to me if you're going to be upset if 3 months later I give it away or I donate it or whatever. Like, because I'll try to make it work, and some stuff I do hold on to, but I do get too much stuff that people just bring me because they know I'll take it. And so it's like, you got to be okay with me getting rid of this. Grandma's coming around. I think that like, yeah, I think that like, I certainly, Grandma and I have had a journey. I've had a journey for sure. And there were times where it was not good. Like hello KK, welcome. Hello. Yeah, so like we definitely had times where we were not connecting, and so I think that like anytime there's something that's new and trying to like figure out what it is, she gets there. And I think that she's just like, and I think that, and I know Mama Champagne is going to watch this, so we're talking about you. It's going to make her cry, but don't worry about it. It's fine. But I think that like Mama Champagne takes on too many things. And I think that Mama Champagne takes on too much guilt for things that are not her responsibility, that are not her problem. And so I think that sometimes like there's this reaction of like, oh, something is new. And I think that she like, it becomes as like, what did I do to cause this? And I think that's like a reaction that she has automatically. And I think that I mean, that's part of what our repairing our relationship over the years has been about, is about like, this is, first of all, it's not a problem. And it's a situation. This is just the situation. It's a factual situation. And it's not a situation you caused. Although, let me tell you, because I am snarky, I am a little bit, can I tell you, when I told her, when I came out, and because she asked me all the questions that people at that time were asking, and she said, did I cause this? Now, put a pin in that. I was born in 1978. In 1978, the gayest disco hit in the world, I Will Survive, came out. It took everything in my being. When she asked me, like, what did I do to cause this? Can I tell you, I almost bit through my tongue because I wanted to make a joke about how she listened to I Will Survive too often, and that made me gay. Because that's who I am. I'm just a little bit snarky. I'm just a little bit, I like to turn it into a joke. And so I was like, no, you didn't. But I was like, oh, white knuckling it. Because I was like, I want to make a joke, but I was like, we are not in joke time right now. It's too much. Hello KK. Hello, everybody saying hello. I think it's very empowering to understand that. Absolutely. Janet, my parents, oh, I missed this one up here. Not excellent people, I'll put it that way, but I don't resent them. They really did. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, CJ. I think, and that's the difference, and that's one of the things, because I think, and we've kind of talked around this, because again, my family, we don't always talk fully about this, but I think that my mom has felt guilty about things that happened when we were kids, and like if she didn't always have the money to provide certain things or whatever, but like she was there. Like that was the thing. And that was the difference between her and my dad, was that my dad was never there. He was an alcoholic. He fucked off and had some new family. And like we barely ever heard from him, to the point where we stopped taking his calls until he just finally stopped calling. And so like, even if you did things imperfectly, like if you're doing things, it's because you're there to do them, right? And so that was something that like took a little bit to kind of understand. So I understand, I feel what you're saying. I don't want to say I understand, because we don't always like understand somebody else's story entirely, but I feel what you're saying about I don't resent them. I was angry with my dad for a long time. I still, grief is weird when you have that kind of like fucked up weird relationship, because I still feel like I'm not really sure how to feel about my dad's death. Like I feel very very strange, because when my aunt called me, so my aunt Lorene called me to tell me that my dad had passed away, and I just like, I was at work, I was in my office, and I messaged my manager and I said, my dad died, I'm taking the day, I'll be in touch to tell you what the plan is, whatever. And he was like, fine, go, it's great. And I was in my office and I was in this kind of shell shock, and I put on Requiem from Dear Evan Hansen, which is the saddest, most beautiful song ever. And I put that on repeat, and I washed makeup brushes and cried for 5 hours. And so like that was like the initial, and there's a blog on janessaj.com, a little self-promotion. It's called Estranged, where I talk about that situation, and that whole experience. But I like sat there for like 5 hours and just washed makeup brushes. Yes, I had that many dirty makeup brushes. Don't judge me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how we got there. But I washed brushes for 5 hours and cried. But I haven't really cried that much since then. So like I feel weird about like the whole grief is weird. It's always weird. It's always different for everybody. Yeah. Being able to I think that Mama Champagne is much more like willing to engage with some of these conversations, and I think that she's in a better place of not feeling like she has to take on the blame for it. So I think that's good. I was very close to my maternal grandmother, and that shaped me because my mom was a bit absent. Yeah, that I was very close with my grandmother. And my grandfather too. I love them both very much, but especially my grandmother. And I was around when she was having her final illness, and that there's still a lot of trauma around that I'm still kind of processing and working through, because that was a pretty terrible experience. She had breast cancer, and I was there a lot during the last like couple weeks, and it just was not good. I'm sure your mom. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, KK, that your mom did not have a good response. But I mean, it was 1997. I came out the same year as Ellen came out on her show, and then came out personally. And my mom asked. I'm not surprised. Like she asked a lot of the questions that people asked at that time. Because I tell you, I read every gay book that I could find at the time. I was very stage 5. Stage 5 is when people are like super gay. And so I read all the things, and like all the things people asked. Did I cause this? Why did you choose this? All these kinds of things. And the big one, because I remember this was like, again, in the 90s, there was still that perception. Does this mean you're going to get AIDS? Was one of the questions she asked me. And so we talked about, no, that's not. And so like, it was stuff that I expected because I had read all these accounts, but I just was like, it was a little difficult. And then, so a funny story about Mama Champagne. I don't know if we'll see if she remembers this, but she like in her head kind of like um, turned it around of, oh, is Dion going away? You're starting to doze. All right. Thanks for joining us, Dion, while you were here. Sorry for the Leatherface experience, but so Mama Champagne, like after I told her and we had our conversation and it was a little bit fraught, and I told her right before I was going to like move to Medora, because I had 3 summers where I worked out in Medora, which is like this tour. It's the only real like tourism that North Dakota has. And so I told her like a day or two before I left because I was like, I don't want to have to sit here in awkwardness. I think I left the next day. And so she was like, don't tell anybody else until she's like, I need some time to think about this. Don't tell anybody else until so and I was like, that's fine. I don't have to, I was like, I wanted to tell her, but I didn't need to tell any of the other people. Well, then every time I came home, she had randomly told somebody. So like somebody would like pull me aside and I was like, I thought we weren't, first of all, I was like, why are you telling people? And then it was like, so she had told, like, I came home and then I found out she had told my stepfather. And then like I came home and she had told my aunt and uncle, Kent and Shelley. And so I was like, I thought we weren't telling anybody, and now why are and then we talked later about how she felt like she had the responsibility, like she had to break this news to people, and it's like, no, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about their reaction. You don't own their reaction, whatever it is. But like every time I came home, somebody would like pull me aside and be like, "So your mom tells us," and I was like, "What?" Oh, I don't know. It was very weird. It was very weird. So Mama Champagne, we've talked about that, but came out to grandma before mom and dad. Yep. That is so great. Or at least in my life, that would have been the most important. My relationship with my grandma was unmatched. Yeah. Grandpa Steve is very disconnected. Yeah, very disconnected. Well, I mean, now he's dead, but but yeah, and it was very strange because for somebody who like, here's the thing. Let's dig in. We're digging into the trauma. The thing that like really upset me and the trauma that went with me for a long time is that I didn't, because I was too young and I didn't understand. He used to call when he was drunk. And so what would happen was he would call and he would ask the same questions over and over again. It would be this loop of like 3 or 4 questions. And it would be things that like maybe a parent should know. Like, how old are you? What grade are you in? What subjects do you like in school? What's your favorite show? Or like, have you seen any good movies? But then it would cycle back to like, how old are you? And so I was too young where I was like, I don't understand why he's asking me these same questions over and over again. And it really upset me because I was like, what is happening? And so, yeah, like, but then, so after all of that, and then like I hadn't spoken to him in almost like, it was getting close to 10 years, and he randomly called my mom to get my number, and she like panicked and gave it to him. So then he's like calling me, and it didn't matter because I was moving apartments, so I wasn't going to have that phone number much longer anyway. And so, but he called me to tell me that my younger half sister, who I also hadn't spoken to since 5th grade, this is when I'm in college, was pregnant. And I was like, what am I to do with this news? It's like, okay, thanks for telling me, goodbye. And then like it was very strange. But then he just like randomly added me on Facebook, and I'm like, that's like, we don't even talk, but you send me a Facebook friend request. I think I had added him for a while, and I think at some point I was like, that's fucking weird, because then he added me and never messaged me, like never said anything. So I'm like, what is the end game here? What is this? And so I think I eventually deleted him off of there, but let's see. I'm going to always wonder too if some of their suppressing me as a queer trans person was to protect me in a way. I think there's some of that too. I think that that's one of the things that my mom and I have talked about is that and I think a turning point, we had talked about the fact, and Mama Champagne, you can correct us in the comments, but we had talked about the fact that one of the things that was a turning point was when she came for my wedding to my ex-husband. Because she was like, and she had said to me, and I don't remember the exact thing that she said, but she said something along the lines of, like, this really clicked for me that like you could have a full life, because we had a wedding and like 200 and some people showed up, and like everybody was there and they were so happy except for my ex-husband's parents, but And actually his mom was fine, but his dad was an asshole. But like all these people who came to celebrate us and have a good time, and she was like, I understood that you could have like a full life and people who loved you and people who appreciated you and supported you. And that was kind of a turning point of this. Like, I think that she just had all of these like stories in her head of what happens to queer people. And none of them were good, of course. Growing up in North Dakota, none of the stories were good. So like realizing like, oh no, you can still have, it looks different than what I maybe thought it was going to look like. And I don't want, I mean, obviously I'm speaking for her because we're talking about it, but you know, she would have to tell more of that story, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm so behind. Okay, so I'm trying to go through. The prejudice was real, but that too, yeah. Yeah, I think that sometimes there is even people who are a little bit toxic or are not supportive. Sometimes they do bad things for sometimes good reasons. I think that's legitimate. So Deanna's taking a nap. I've somehow locked multiple family relationships that have been positive out of sheer luck. Yeah. We ended up with some fairly good people on our family tree. Like we did pretty good. We don't have that for the most part, those like the really kind of toxic people. So I love that. People are saying good night. Yeah, the HIV stuff, that it was such in the mid 90s, especially, there was still so much. And that was actually part of my coming out process. I was still kind of figuring things out. My brain clearly was like, we don't have to deal with this till we get to college. And my first semester of college, there was this religious group, Baptist Campus Ministries, who brought this AIDS expert to do this big presentation on campus. And it was so bogus. It was like, you can get AIDS from a salad bar, you can get AIDS from kissing, you can get AIDS from a toilet seat. And then it turned into a sermon about how gay people are going to get AIDS because it's a sin and blah, blah, blah. So it was just a sermon. It was not an AIDS expert. It was not, it was somebody, because they promoted him as Dr. Boys. I think Boys was the last name. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? But like, he was like a doctor of zoology or something. Like he's kind of like Dr. Laura and Dr. Phil, where they are doctors, but they have a doctorate in something completely unrelated to what they're like schlepping to the public. And so, and I wasn't even out, but I was so outraged that I like, and on campus at that time, the 10% Society, which was the campus group at the time, like they were so, the people in it were so closeted and they were so used to being attacked that like nobody responded. And I was so mad that nobody responded. I mean, clearly my egg was in the process of getting cracked, but I was so mad that I like wrote a letter to the editor, and the guy from Baptist Campus Ministries couldn't believe it. And let me tell you, that guy, Scott, I don't remember his last name. It's like Kunzel or something, but he was like the leader of that for years. And let me tell you, he was the Joker to my Batman. And eventually Baptist Campus Ministries got kicked off of campus for all their hate speech. And I felt vindicated because let me tell you, he and I was like, I'm going to make things difficult for you. You can bring these like yahoos onto campus and you can parade this bullshit around, but you're not going to do it unanswered. You're not going to have people not respond to it. And I'm going to like talk about what bullshit this is. And so it was so bad. Medora, yeah, Medora, Medora. They had a whole, oh, it's so Americana cheesy bullshit. Yeah. The HIV ones, yeah, there is still some of that like HIV stereotype about queer people. Ugh. Let's see. Oh, it jumped. What happened? Okay. HIV, no, it was not. My mom literally said, oh no, she didn't use the F slur. I'm so sorry, Kay. That is very traumatic. I'm so sorry that you experienced that. That is not good. I'm really sorry that you had that experience. I know that things are getting better and like people are coming out earlier and overall they're having a lot of people are having better experiences, but we need to remember that people still have trauma around coming out. And I never knew him, and that is insane. I think that's Grandpa Steve that you were talking about. That's horrible. My stepdad told me that he didn't care what I liked, and that I was, oh, that's sweet. I like that. I'm glad that your stepdad stepped in like that. When my parents told me they were going to get divorced, I said so many disrespectful things and ended up that my mom attempted murder. Whoa, to my dad via promiscuity. Uh-oh. That's yeah. See, I never remember my parents living together. My parents got divorced when I was 2, and so I only ever really knew my mom as a single mom until she got married. I had a stepfather for a while, and then they got divorced, and then he died, and I think it was karma. He was not a great man. Come out until after my mom had passed. I couldn't have the room for it in my mind. That's the thing. I get it. Like every coming out day, I always kind of make a joke where I'm just like, there's probably 2 kids in Peru who don't know I'm queer. I'm doing it for them. And so, but it's important to remember that like some people don't have the safety. Also know of him because of random wooden toys that he also never followed. So Grandpa Steve, that was, yes. So that was a thing that he also did, and that's another. We're unpacking all the trauma today, because that was one thing that like my dad would get on the phone and he would tell me, he would ask me like what kind of toys I liked and what I wanted and all this kind of stuff, and he would promise and promise and promise and promise. And let me tell you, growing up, I got maybe 1 or 2 birthday cards, and there was like 1 or 2 Christmases where we got a box of toys from him. But every year he would promise. And let me tell you, every year in January when it's fucking cold, I was like a kid on a mission because he told me that he was sending me a card or he was sending whatever. And I made my mom, this was before I went to school. I was like 5. And I made my mom take me to the post office every single day. And I would open I would take the key and I would open the box. And she knew, I mean, it had to be heartbreaking because she knew that there was never going to be anything there. And there never was. And but I was the way that little kids know things, that's how I knew that he was going to send this stuff. And then the one year that he did send a box of toys, for all the times that he was like, tell me what you want, I want to get you exactly what you want or whatever. And not that I didn't appreciate the gift or whatever, but he sent this box of stuff. And he clearly just some of it was there was a couple G.I. Joe things, there was a couple cars, and there's a couple whatever, but there was 2 of everything. So it wasn't even about what I liked or what my brother liked. Nothing was labeled. It was just 2 of everything. So there would be 1 for my brother and 1 for me. And so then we just had to kind of fight it out of who got the red car versus the yellow car, who got this G.I. Joe character instead of this G.I. Joe character. And so, so it was just, and that was 1 year there was a box with that stuff. I moved out at 18. We grew apart after that. I lived my life. Oh, I'm sorry, KK. I wish for people to have good coming out experiences. So I'm sorry to hear about that. Yeah, I can imagine having trouble maintaining relationships. Sorry, I missed some of the chat. Yeah, the AIDS panic definitely not was. Janet, no salad bar. Drink out of a water cup. I knew he had full-blown AIDS. Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's wild. Honestly, that was so stupid. Laura is back. People judge me feel like I was dirty. There's so much judgment and there's so much ugliness around that. 6-year-long queue, someone would walk in the room and everyone would feel so happy. I never was that person. Well, now you come into our chat rooms and you make us happy. I've heard a lot of stuff that deserves support. There's probably a therapist that if I were willing to spend the money, they could cash in. But instead, I just come here to my internet friends and we just unpack the trauma here. I don't know if my dad is alive. I think he is, but the thought of him hearing anything about me still terrifies me. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't. Here's the thing, and this is, I understand, KK, again, I don't want to say I understand, but I definitely sometimes have had trouble maintaining relationships. And the thing for me, and this is what's really ugly about my coming out experience, I am very lucky that overall I had very good coming out experiences. But because I had read all of these stories and because I had heard all of these accounts of people getting thrown out of their home and all this kind of stuff, before I came out to anyone, I had to come to terms with the idea of that person never being in my life again. And so it was almost like mourning them before they were gone. So like before I told my mother, I had to like get to a place to be like, what if I never talk to my mother again? And like I was still like I was going to school and she didn't have like a lot of money to like she wasn't paying my tuition and all that kind of stuff. I was getting loans and I did some work study and all that kind of stuff. But like she was still helping me and like sending me money while I was at college and stuff. And I was like, okay, what happens if I never talk to my mother again? And then I was like, that's okay. And so then like every person in my family that I was like, okay, what if I never talk to my aunt and uncle again? Like what if I never talk to my brother again? What if I never, and that was part of that whole coming out process for me, was having to decide that I could be okay if every single person in my life rejected me. And that's an ugly place to be. It's an ugly place to be, of like, what if I have nobody? What if all of my friends hate me? What if all of my friends abandon me? What if my family abandons me? And so you go through this like mourning before they're even gone. And then it turned out that it was fine. And I had, fairly better experiences than a lot of people have, even if there was some friction or whatever. Um, yeah, it was definitely, it was tough. Yes, we are disclosing, but we're disclosing because we are comfortable. Yes, I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope that people feel comfortable here, because I know that sometimes random people wander into the chat. So I appreciate that people are coming in and sharing and being very honest. And I appreciate everybody who is sharing in the chat and being part of this conversation. Because when we have late night lives, we love to get in deep and talk about stuff. So. It always brightens my day when you all show up. Yeah, I love this little community, and I'm so thankful to Dion, because I say this all the time, that like a lot of the people who come on here and chat are people who have sort of come over from Dion's channel after I met her. I'm so thankful that I met Dion. I'm so thankful that I met Torrance, which is how I met Dion. And so like I know that like parasocial relationships are weird or whatever, but like having this kind of online space to come in and be able to talk and like be vulnerable, I really do appreciate that. For what it's worth, it always frightens me. Yeah, I love that. I love how you guys did have similar but different. Grandpa Steve is bleh. Yeah. Yeah, and then so, and I had a lot of anger at my dad for a long time. But I was having, and it doesn't excuse it. I'm not in any way saying that this excuses it. But at one point I was having some conversations with my mom about stuff that she remembered when she was married to him. And I wanted to know more about his dad. So my dad's dad. And he was apparently very like, I don't know if he was I don't remember if he was physically abusive, but it sounded like he was very mentally abusive. And like, it sounded like there was a whole lot of not just alcoholism, but like untreated mental illness. And I was like, oh, okay. And again, it doesn't excuse it. There are lots of people who have mental illness who don't neglect their children and don't call when they're drunk and like traumatize their children. Like, it's not an excuse, but it gave me a different kind of perspective, because as a young kid, I mean, what else you don't, adults are like the authorities. They're the experts, right? So when my dad is acting weird and can't remember my age or what grade I'm in, obviously I internalized that. I was like, oh, there's something about me that is unlovable, or that is like not worthy of attention. And so that was very difficult. And that's been, when the times where I have gone to therapy, we've tweezed a lot of that. And definitely have done a lot of work on that and gotten to a better place. But so when I heard that, I was like, oh, he didn't traumatize me because there was something wrong with me. He traumatized me because there was something wrong with him. And he was probably traumatized by his dad, who it sounded like was an asshole. And so I was like, and so even like some of it, and I don't remember, for some reason I've blocked out some of this conversation. I just remember the kind of generals of it. But I was like, oh, so even if he was not a great dad, it sounds like he was better than his dad was to him. And so I was like, at least that's something. At least that's something. And so that's how you felt divorcing your partners? Yeah, my divorce was very weird because we never did the full like legal marriage. And so my divorce was very like quick and traumatic, but it was very different. What if I never talk to them again? So why even exactly? It's tough. KK. It's very difficult to unlearn that and to kind of, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And I'm proud of you for like working on that because it's tough. That's a tough place to get to and then to get back from. Everyone love your spot. Oh, I did. And that was the weird thing after I got divorced because there were some friends that I kind of got from his side that I was like, oh, I don't have those people anymore. That's kind of a bummer. And there was a couple of them that they like checked in on me from time to time, and we did kind of talk a little bit, but yeah, like it was tough. That fear is a huge reason why I haven't put my face on camera here yet, but I do understand about grieving someone who is alive. Yeah. And my question about my dad when he died is I was like, well, he's always been an absence in my life, but now that absence is permanent. So even if he was clearly not doing anything to try to mend the relationship. I was not doing anything to try to mend the relationship. But when someone's still alive, there was something in my crazy brain that was like, well, maybe someday. And I wasn't pursuing it. I wasn't even really interested in it. But then all of a sudden, when there's that moment of like, well, now it's done. It's not gonna go. Um, yeah, it's tough. Ended it at 3:30. Yeah, when I have a show at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh God, I just after a show I'm like amped up, and so I can never go right back to bed. But yeah, we've been here like 2 hours. Yeah, my sleep schedule has been weird. Yeah, I do. I've kind of peeked in on KK's live. I'll sometimes go and I'll like click through and like scrub through and watch the look. Um, I'm terrible about remembering to leave comments when I watch videos. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. As someone who also does YouTube and is always telling people like, please come back and comment. I'm the worst about remembering to do that. I'm pretty good about leaving the thumbs up, but I'm the worst at trying to remember that. Yeah. And the one thing I will say, because I have kind of like not really shit on my dad or whatever, because again, Anne Lamott, you own your stories. If someone wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better. And I will say the one thing about my dad, the one story, and this, if you read the blog, again, shameless self-promotion, over in the thoughts and prayers section on my website, I have my thing where it's called Estranged, and I wrote it on the day my dad died. I sat there and cried and washed makeup brushes for 5 hours. And then I was like, I have to write something. And so then I wrote it and just put it out into the world and then like shut my phone. And I was like, I had to walk away. I was like, I couldn't watch people's reactions to it. And people were very lovely about it. But like the story that I'll always tell about my dad is that for whatever trauma, for whatever negative experiences I have, I remember one time he came to pick us up. So my grandparents on my dad's side well, now my grandmother's dead. Her second husband, who was the grandpa that I knew, Grandpa Bill, growing up, but it wasn't my dad's dad. It was his stepfather. But like we would go and my dad would come and pick us up and we would go to Williston and stay at their house and like hang out for like a week or whatever. And we did this a few times when I was growing up. And there was one time where on the way we stopped in Kenmare, which is like 16 miles from Bowbells, and they were fancy because they had a Ben Franklin store, which was like kind of like a little like weird craft store, general store kind of thing. And they had several toy aisles. They had like, this was the 80s, so they had a boys aisle and a girls aisle and all that kind of stuff. But my dad said you can pick out a toy that you want for the trip. I don't even remember if he probably gave us like a budget or something, because we didn't pick out anything too big. I think my brother picked out like a G.I. Joe. He was super into G.I. Joe at the time. And so I think he got a G.I. Joe. And I was looking through, and I always went to both the boy aisle and the girl aisle. And in the girl aisle, there was this makeup set. Spoiler alert. Here she is. But it was this makeup set, and it had like little lipsticks and I think a bottle of perfume. I don't think it had like eyeshadows or anything. I think it was just like lipsticks and perfume and maybe like a nail polish. And then it had those, do you remember? I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. They had those little like, they weren't fake nails, but they were actually fake fingertips. Because like for little kids, they didn't want to give you like nails that you had to glue on. So it was like a little plastic fingertip that had red nails on it. And it was a set of 10 fake fingernails to put on. And I brought that to my dad, and he, without a question, put it on the counter, paid for it. We took it on the way. I took my little nails and my lipsticks out. We went fishing and we went out in a boat, and I'm like playing with my makeup set or whatever. And he didn't flinch. He didn't look at me funny. He didn't question, is that really what you want? I brought it to him. He set it on the counter. He paid for it. Now, I don't know. Maybe he just felt like I'm not enough of a parent to actually like intervene here. If this is what, like, I feel weird. Whatever it was, he never for a second made me feel weird or inappropriate for picking that thing out. And that's the memory of my dad that I keep. That's the memory of my dad that I'm like, yes, there were all these other times. And I remember those, and we work on those when we can, when we're doing introspection, like we think about that and we engage with it. But the thing that like stuck with me was when he bought me that makeup set, because he never once, because I bought a lot, like I was always looking at the She-Ra toys and the Gem and all that kind of stuff, and I had a good mix of toys or whatever. But I will say that occasionally, and again, I don't blame them, but like every once in a while, I would get like kind of a weird look if I had a female action figure, or if there would be like, are you sure? Is that what you want? There felt like sometimes a little bit of judgment, and that for my dad, not a second, just like, here, okay, put it on the counter, paid for it, handed it back to me. We went in the car, never said anything. I took it in the boat. I played with it the whole time I was there. No, he never said anything. Nobody said anything to me. And so that is a memory that like is very precious to me, of like just this moment where I got to be the little queerdo kid, and it was okay. Like it wasn't a problem. It wasn't something to be solved. It was just fine. The way that it was. Let's see. Understand, I have my pictures. What should I do differently to involve my parents? Did I have a perfume maker? I did not have a perfume maker in the 80s. I wasn't into perfume as much. It was definitely the red nails got me. That was the thing in there. The perfume I didn't really care about. I didn't care about fragrance until I became like a teenager. And then I have to apologize profusely to anyone who encountered me after I discovered Avon's Wild Country Musk, because let me tell you, I never had BO. I was always well washed, but I certainly wore the shit out of some Wild Country Musk from Avon. Oh, Jesus. If you were ever harmed by being in a room with this hot mess wearing Wild Country Musk, you may be entitled to compensation. Wild, and there was Wild Country, and Wild Country was much smoother and a little bit more sophisticated. It was still Avon, but it was a little bit more sophisticated. But Wild Country Musk was my jam. That was like the 80s version of High Karate. Like that, it was, oh, Wild Country Musk. It was so bad. Oh, I remember Ben Franklin's. Yeah, I loved a Ben Franklin. I loved it. Oh, love it. Yeah, the Wild Country. Oh, so good. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I feel like I should get out of this. I feel like I should take a shower. I did all my skincare. My skin is feeling nice. I'm still gonna do my nighttime skincare, but I do want to take a shower to kind of like wash my hair. You had zero satisfaction of what? What happened, Janet? Did I miss something earlier? What should I do differently to involve your parents? So you understand I have my pictures. What should I do? Do you mean like your pictures on Instagram with your fabulous dog? I think just the dog is okay. If you don't want to include your parents, I say that's fine. I love your dog is super cute. Yeah. I love that. I love that for you. I know. Isn't this dress fun? I love it. I'm definitely going to. I've got a few of these little sequin numbers from Bloom Chic. I am such a big fan. Yeah, thank you everybody for sharing and for talking and for being part of the chat. I really do appreciate when we have these like good conversations, and I love that people share parts of themselves. I certainly don't I certainly don't take that lightly. Your dog is happy, although failing. He's so cute. Whenever he pops up, I'm always like, I know I should look at the makeup look, but I just love the puppy dog so much. Puppy. And I'm one of those people that like it doesn't matter to me how old a dog is. I don't know how to tell how old a dog is. I see a dog and I'm like puppy, or I see a cat and I'm like kitty. They could be 6 months old, puppy. They're 13 years old, puppy. Yes, but let's get going. I should go take a shower. Let me see if I remember my outro. So thank you everybody for coming. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you're here in the chat. Don't forget to circle back around. Feed the algorithm. Help me feed the beast. Wrong side every time. Feed me, Seymour. While you are down there, don't forget that you can give me that thumbs up to tell me that you appreciated this video. Or if you are like, what is going on? What is happening? Go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Become part of the family. I love to have you here. I love our chats here and on Dion's channel and on other places. Wherever you stop in, I really do appreciate these chats. It's such a good time, and I really do appreciate everybody. So definitely hit that subscribe button so you'll find out every time I go live or have a video. I try really hard to have one video or live per week, and sometimes, if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, late night horrific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be... If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down below in the description box, including a link to my website. Just pretend it's there, The World of Champagne at JanessaJ.com. The one thing I like about these horizontal lives is there's room for me to do the full, like, JanessaJ.com. Is this content? Is this content? I never know. It's the eternal question. And with that, thank you everybody. I do love and appreciate all of you. I really do love what this space is, and I'm glad that people feel comfortable coming here and sharing and talking and being part of the chat. So I really do I take that very seriously. So I really do appreciate it. So thank you, everybody. Go get some sleep. I'm going to go get something to take a shower, and I'm going to go to bed. I hope everybody's having a lovely night. And until I see you again, bye. And then I always have to remember how to do the end stream. Okay, there's a button. Just read the button. Okay, bye.